Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here early morning on the west coast of Canada. I hope everybody has had a wonderful week and is looking forward to an excellent weekend. Hi Jason Lee, hi Cool Lin. Good to see students already in this class. Right now, we are looking at an IELTS Task 2 writing, and we're looking for that Band 9 level finish. We started this Task 2 essay yesterday, and we're going to finish it today with the body paragraphs and the conclusion. If you missed yesterday's class, no worries. We will review the introduction before getting into the rest of the writing. Welcome our moderator, Carolina. Hi, Amu. Welcome to our members in the Academic English Help channel. While we wait for some more members and students, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com. That's academicenglishhelp.com, as well as gieltshelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com. On both of our websites, we have lots and lots of materials to help you improve your English and your communication skills so you can get those high band scores on your next exam. This is our Academic IELTS website here. You can click this big red button to join our premium package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access, so it's well worth it. It doesn't cost a lot. Our goal is to help as many students around the world as possible, and we are helping thousands of students daily to improve their scores for the exam. Once you have a My Student account, you will have access to computer-based practice exams, a full online academic course, workbooks, study plans, lesson videos, over 100 hours of lesson videos. For the general IELTS, it's this green background. You can check us out there if you're learning for the general IELTS and click that big red button. Again, one-time payment for lifetime access. Welcome, Shahid. Hi, Thomas. Hi, Andre. Fardius Aboud, good to see you in the class. Paulo, nice to see you as well. Good to have everyone on board. Again, we have apps which power our websites. You can download Academic IELTS Help and link it to aehelp.com and General IELTS Help and link it to gieltshelp.com from your app stores. Welcome, Medina. All right, if you have questions, feel free to send us an email. We're pretty good at getting back quickly to inquiries, and you can send an email to adrian@aehelp.com. Hi, Harwinder. Hi, Rashika. All right, everyone. So we've got Task 2 right now, and then we'll have Task 1 Academic after. That's going to be a process diagram. So we did General Task 1 and we're doing Academic Task 1, so you'll get a good idea of the difference between the two versions of the IELTS exam. And then tomorrow we'll have speaking part 2 and part 3 for everyone. Okay, everyone, so let's get into the writing lesson today. So this was the question that we started with yesterday at this time. You should spend about 40 minutes on this task. A lot of people who wanted to become professional athletes gave up this idea because of the fear of failure and parents' pressure. Do you think that parents should support their children who want to do a career in sports? Support your point of view with relevant examples from your knowledge or experience. So this is clearly asking for your opinion. So it's a first-person essay, meaning that you're writing with the subjective voice of the author. That's you. So in this case, you do need to include I believe, in my opinion, from my experience, and this kind of first-person perspective. All right. So we went through the steps of planning yesterday, and from that planning, we were able to come up with our introductory paragraph. Again, if you missed yesterday's lesson, no worries. The video is available on YouTube, so you can go back and check out how we did the planning later. Again, remember to subscribe to the channel and set your notifications so you can really follow along with these lessons. A good introductory paragraph that's at the band 7, 8, 9 level does have a hook, does have a background and thesis. We're communicating with lots of IELTS examiners regularly, and we know the reality of it. And yes, they do say that, well, for band 8, band 9 essays, they are looking for a hook. It is a standard part of English essay writing, okay? So here's our hook. Here's our introductory paragraph. I will read this nice and smooth, and then we'll get right into the meat and heart of the essay. Welcome, June. Hi, Bakrat. Welcome, Medina Anita over in General English Help. All right, so many children dream of becoming professional athletes in adulthood. Youth are often passionate about sports and want to practice and play regularly to gain fame and fortune through talent and hard work. Parental support is important for both financial and moral reasons. I believe that mothers and fathers should encourage aspiring children to become professional athletes as this leads to health and success. Okay, good. So very importantly, the thesis is the cornerstone of an essay. Okay, if you're not sure about what a cornerstone is, we use this expression regularly. And it comes from building a house or building a church, let's say, where you have a very big, strong piece of stone, and then on that stone, the rest of the home is built. Okay, it almost looks like the door of the house, but let's put a door there. That's maybe a little bit too big for a cornerstone, but anyway, that's the cornerstone of a house. It's put into the corner of a building. And again, it's a word that we often use, kind of a synonym of foundation. Okay, so if you have a weak cornerstone, then the entire house will break and fall apart very quickly. So you need a strong cornerstone to build a strong house, just like you need a strong thesis statement to build a good essay. Okay, it's extremely important, not only for IELTS, but for your professional work and your academic studies as well, to be able to write good thesis statements for argumentative essays. All right? Okay. So we have that in this case. A good thesis will always give a clear idea to the reader of what your essay is going to discuss, what kind of an argument or position you're going to take in that essay. It will even show your reader the structure of your essay. So here, the first paragraph is clearly about the importance of supporting youth who want to be career athletes for health reasons, okay? So to be healthy individuals in life. And it's clear for the reader that the second paragraph will focus on success. So the same idea, supporting students will lead to success. All right, so body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2. All right. Let's get into the essay. So let's start writing this first body paragraph. What do we start our first body paragraph with? So body paragraphs have very clear structure, just like the introduction. What is the first part of a body paragraph? Let's see if some of our newer students can answer this question. I'm sure some of our older students will have a clear idea. Okay, and so again, this is standard English essay writing, and it's expected that professionals and academics in Western society, especially UK, Australia, Canada, have an absolute clear idea on how to write this type of essay. Okay, so what's our first sentence? Okay, body paragraph has several components. The first sentence for the body paragraph is the topic sentence. And then after the topic sentence, you'll have your supporting points. Now, I like to be a little bit clear on what those supporting points are. Supporting points are explanations and examples. Okay, that's what supports your argument or your essay. All right. Okay, so in this case, the idea is parent support is good because it leads to healthy individuals. Okay. All right, so let's put together that topic sentence. Yeah, so Bakrat, very nice. So Bakrat says it's topic, explanation, example, and then you'll have a connecting sentence as well. That's not always necessary. As long as you have good information, the information will connect your ideas among paragraphs. But for the IELTS, you can include that connecting, concluding sentence. We're going to do that today, okay? All right, so let's write our topic sentence. Now, our topic sentence is a deeper definition of our first point. And in this case, our first point is parental support for career athletes to be healthy individuals. Okay, so what does it mean to be healthy when somebody is aspiring to be a career athlete? Give me this topic sentence. I'm going to do the same, and then we'll compare and see if you come up with a similar kind of idea. All right, so there is my topic sentence. And I'm giving a little bit more detail, right? So health can be described usually from two different components, if you will. One is mental health, so thinking well, staying positive, being happy. And also, of course, physical health, so good fitness levels, staying in shape, avoiding obesity, being overweight, being physically strong, right? So that is my topic sentence, okay? So now I have to explain what I mean by this, right? Again, you want to continuously visualize and imagine the situation. So you want to imagine parents who have a small 5, 6-year-old child. They put their child into, let's say, football, and then they take their child to practice regularly during the week. They buy them their clothing, their cleats. They give them that support to play professional sports, and then you see that child grow and develop and become better and better, and have success in that sport, play that sport regularly instead of sitting at home and playing video games or wasting time. And think about two scenarios. One where the child succeeds and becomes a professional athlete. Also, think about another perspective where the child doesn't become a professional athlete. Maybe they're not talented enough, and so they don't become a professional footballer. Is it bad for their health that they didn't become professional? Are they going to quit playing sports in adulthood? So think about both of those perspectives. I would say that if I'm thinking about this clearly, whether or not that child earns a living and gains that fame and fortune through sport, they're still going to have great benefit from having that experience of their parents supporting them to play sports throughout their lives. Does everybody agree with that? So does everybody see how that is? Okay. I think the chat might be stuck for our academic students, so let's try to refresh that. Okay. All right. So again, I'm sure that many of you are like, well, Adrian, obviously that child's going to benefit from playing sports throughout their lives. So how would we start this sentence? Okay, now I see the chat's moving nicely. Okay, so how would we express that explanation? So your explanation, the better it is, the better your essay that it's going to be. So parents who support their children to participate in sports help their offspring to be fit both physically and mentally throughout life. Okay. All right, so give me a nice sentence that explains this situation. I'm going to do the same, okay? So we're both writing here. I know all of you are listening carefully, and for some of you, the English is challenging and the lesson is moving quickly. But regardless, when you have an idea for the sentences we're discussing, just write it down and put it into the chat so that I can give you feedback, okay? So okay, so there's kind of look at that. I'm just looking up at the chat, and I'm looking at June, and June is writing almost verbatim what I'm writing at the same time. That's, by the way, always a good sign that you have the right ideas and you're putting together some good writing. When your writing is very similar to that of the teachers or to that of some other classmates, okay? So here's mine. Whether or not a child eventually becomes a career athlete, it is undeniable that a childhood filled with the joy of success in sports and the regular exercise that it entails. I'm missing an it here. This is why review is very important. It entails does lead to stronger body and mind. Okay, so here I'm making that clear for my reader where they go, hey, yeah, wait a second. Even if they don't necessarily become a professional footballer, it doesn't mean life ends for them, and they still get a lot of benefit. Okay. June writes, whether an athlete can become famous and wealthy or not, he or she is able to own good health and fitness through years of physical training, which benefits their whole life. Exactly, June. So June, you're very, very similar to what I've just written. Excuse me. And that's great. That's solid writing. Okay. Harwinder says, during playtime, children develop good cardio ability and stamina that leads to a fit body, which is home to a healthy mind. Okay. Harwinder, don't use expressions like fit as a fiddle. It's awkward. It feels like you're forcing that idiom into the writing, and it's a bit awkward, okay? So don't put that in there. Rashika writes, parents can help their children to improve their athletic abilities by participating in activities for good mental and physical health. Rashika, it's not bad. It does read a bit redundant to the topic sentence and introduction. Amu writes, whether a child becomes a professional athlete or not, it is good for a child to participate in sports as it gives pleasure and acts as stress relief. Apart from this, it keeps an individual fit. Yeah, notice students how sometimes you have some word form mistakes. So stress reliever is a bit awkward. It's stress relief, okay? So the common collocation that you're looking for there is stress relief, okay? So use that in the future, okay? All right. And Rashika, it's not athlete's abilities, it's athletic ability. Okay, so that's the collocation there, all right? So keep that in mind. Word form is tricky, and that's where practice makes perfect. You just have to practice it often. When you're writing adjective nouns, just really focus on making sure that you have the correct adjective form of the word, okay? So focus on that. All right, so far so good. Okay, and now we want to add an example. So a real world example, okay? And this is where you want to create your personal experience, all right? So include something from the real world, something that's you. You want to make it believable, visible. This is where you can include some more quantitative information as well. So let's give an example for this, okay? So let's give an example of a child. Maybe it's your brother, a sister, a friend who played football. They played regularly. Maybe they didn't become a professional athlete, but hey, even though they wanted to be, but they are very fit and happy adults because of this. Okay? All right. So here we go. As you think of your example, I'll give you a head start. Notice my use of words here. So undeniable, so meaning that it cannot be argued. Okay? And another word is entails. Entails means that it involves. Okay. All right. Okay. So here we go. Let's put an example here. I'm going to do this. You do the same, and then we'll compare and see what you have. Okay. All right. So keep it up, students. You're doing a great job. Okay. All right. So my friend John wanted to become a professional footballer, and even though he didn't or did not, let's not use collocations, it's an academic essay especially, so even though he did not achieve this, his parents took him to practice 4 times each week for a dozen years or so, and today he is exceptionally healthy and leads a happy life with 2 children and as a physician. Okay. So there is my example. So my friend John wanted to become a professional footballer, comma, because it's the idea here. And even though he did not achieve this, so he didn't become a career athlete, his parents took him to practice 4 times each week for a dozen years or so. And today, he is exceptionally healthy and leads a happy life with 2 children as a physician. Okay, So I have a pretty good sentence here. Now, again, when you're practicing at home, you can always review and make it better. And for those high band scores like band 8 and band 9, we're looking for really good flow of information. So with this example, I can actually organize these parts a little bit better. So I have my friend John, let's call that part 1. Wanted to become a professional footballer. Let's call that part 2. And even though he didn't achieve this, let's call that part 3. These are all separate ideas that are connected. His parents took him to practice 4 times a week for a dozen years or so. Let's call that part 4. And today, he is exceptionally healthy and leads a happy life with 2 children as a physician. Let's call that part 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now reading this, I think that I can have a little bit of better order of information here. What do you think I should do? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks okay. It reads okay. I would say this is a band 8. If I want that to read as a band 9, I need to reorganize that a little bit. How do you think? So what should be the sequence of these elements of these numbers here? Does anybody have an idea what part I should reorganize? Okay, how would you order this to be a little bit clearer? So again, when you're reviewing your essay at home and even during the IELTS, especially the computer-based, it's easier to make these kinds of fixes. You can even cut and paste in the computer-based exam, so you can order the information better. I think there's a better way to order this information. Anybody know what that is? So how can I order this information a little bit better? I'm just curious if anybody's picking up on that. While you think about that, I'll read a little bit more of people's writing. So Fardius Abode says, whether or not children can gain more experience. For instance, my daughter loves riding a horse 2 times each week and enjoys it, and this helps her to do fantastic work at school. Okay, Fardius, that's the right idea. Careful with your grammar. Bakrat writes, the participation in sports activities, parents who support and help their children to be fit, both muscular and physiologically, whether or not a child eventually becomes a career athlete, not only taking part in curriculum, provide happiness, but also make them stronger for another task in athletics. Bakrat, you have a lot of ideas there and they sound good, but your grammar needs a lot of improvement. It's making your sentences incoherent. So you really want to review the grammar and how that all fits together. Okay, Amu writes, for instance, a recent survey was conducted among elderly people in 2 categories. One consisted of those who played sports during their leisure time, and another group of people consisted of those who never played even a single game throughout their career. The results have revealed that the first group of people are still fit and healthy, whereas others are suffering from various illnesses. Amu, I kind of find that example a little bit off topic. It reads to me, Amu, like you studied a template from a class or an IELTS book. It's not really your own thinking, and it fits awkwardly into this essay where it's asking if parents should support their children to become career athletes. So, Amu, try to be more original, okay? That's my feedback there for you, all right? Okay, here, I would say that 1 is okay. Okay, 2 is okay. I would switch 3 and 4. All right. And I would also make a small adjustment. This is a tricky one. I would switch that to here. Okay. And then it would read like a band 9. So I'm always challenging some of our students who have that higher English ability to pick apart and critique my writing as well. So this would read better as, my friend John wanted to become a professional footballer, and he practiced 4 times each week for a dozen years or so. Even though he did not achieve this, his parents... even though he did not achieve this, today he is exceptionally healthy and leads a happy life as a physician with 2 children. And that will read better. So you can always improve. There is no such concept as the perfect author or as the perfect writing. Even the best writing can be improved, and that's why it's so challenging to get a band 9 in the writing section of the IELTS, because writing can always be better. Okay, so here we go, and you can always critique your writing. So here I'm using this point so I can kind of emphasize for you the importance of reviewing, revising, and always working on making your written communication more effective. Okay, all right, so watch this. Okay, so if I take this part here, my friend John wanted to become a professional footballer. Okay, and I'll cut that out and I'll put it in here. His parents took him to practice 4 times, and here I'll need a connection. Okay. So my friend John wanted to become a professional footballer, therefore his parents took him to practice 4 times each week for a dozen years or so, and even though he did not achieve his goal, no pun intended, right? Goal, football. Even though he did not achieve his goal, today, he is exceptionally healthy and leads a happy life as a physician with 2 children. Can everybody see that the order of information is better now? It's more logical. Okay. Does everybody see that? So, Amu, Bakrat, Farduus, plus education, okay, pilot Mishab. Everybody see that? This is a long sentence. Notice that there's lots of comma use here, okay? It is one continuous idea. If you're not confident that you can use punctuation and commas effectively enough to put together a sentence like this in English, then break it into 2 sentences, okay? So be very careful with wrong punctuation and run-on sentences, all right? Sometimes I see that, all right? So again, my friend John wanted to become a professional footballer, therefore his parents took him to participate 4 times each week for a dozen years or so, and eventually, and even though he did not achieve this goal, today he is exceptionally healthy and leads a happy life as a physician with 2 children. Okay, so there, now I have a grammatically correct, logically sound sentence. Okay. Rashika writes, in my country, 80% of professional athletes have become successful in their careers through the help of their parents. Without them, it is more difficult for children. I got this information from biography. I'm not sure what you mean by that last sentence, Rashika, I got this information from biography. That's a little bit strange for me. Okay. All right, so now I need that connecting, concluding sentence. And my connecting, concluding sentence should always reflect the main topic and controlling idea in some way, directly or indirectly. Sometimes you can use the example to create your connecting and concluding sentence, okay? That gives it a lot of cohesion. So your essay will be very, very connected when you combine the example into your connecting or concluding sentence. So here I'm going to do that, okay? And don't overthink it. So here, this is what I'm going to write. Clearly, all right, so here we go. Clearly, John may not have become such a successful individual without the support of his parents to play football and become the best version of himself. All right, so now it sounds to me like I have a good paragraph. I'm going to review it one more time. At home, keep reviewing. So review after each sentence, review the paragraph, okay? In the IELTS, you might not have that much time to review after each sentence, but definitely review after you have finished writing a paragraph, okay? So here I'm going to review my full paragraph and just make sure that it is the way I want it to be. Parents who support their children to participate in sports help their offspring to be fit both physically and mentally throughout life. Whether or not a child eventually becomes a career athlete, it is undeniable that a childhood filled with the joy of success in sports and the regular exercise that it entails does lead to a stronger body and mind. My friend John wanted to become a professional footballer. Therefore, his parents took him to practice 4 times each week for a dozen years or so, and even though he did not achieve this goal, today, he is exceptionally healthy and leads a happy life as a physician with 2 children. Clearly, John may not have become such a successful individual without the support of his parents to play football and become the best version of himself. Now, I'm going to be a little bit careful here and change this to healthy. Okay. Why did I do that? Why did I change that last word from successful to healthy? Anybody have an idea? And I think maybe YouTube's a little bit slower today on the latency because it seems to me like some of our members' responses are coming a little bit late. So while you think about that, there is a very logical reason why I changed successful to healthy. Okay. Can anybody tell me why I changed the word successful to healthy in this last sentence? It's an important fix, actually. While you think about that, I'll read what Bakrat wrote. So Bakrat writes, the gold medalist of Tokyo Olympics, Neeraj Chopra, reveals how much he was encouraged, or he had been, or he has been, Bakrat, right? Because present perfect means it started in the past, it continues until now, and goes into the future. So Bakrat, I'm sure you can see that present perfect will be a much better grammar form. So the gold medalist of Tokyo Olympics, Neeraj Chopra, reveals how much he has been encouraged by his parents to participate in state-level sports, which has benefited him to win the trophy in the javelin throw. Okay, good. Carolina says, because you're talking about health. Yes, that's right, Carolina, from one perspective. Also, let's not forget my second point, okay? So if I jump back to the introduction, my first body paragraph focuses on health, and my second one focuses on success, okay? So I have to be careful not to mix these together in my body paragraphs. My body paragraphs need to be focused. So I don't want my first body paragraph to include too much about the idea of success. Otherwise, I'm going to get stuck for body paragraph 2, and I'm going to end up repeating the same concept, right? So I have to actively separate out these 2 points of my thesis in my body paragraph. So I have to be very, very careful about that, okay? Okay. So body paragraph 2 follows the same concept. It's going to be a paragraph on success. Okay. Again, make sure it's different than your first body paragraph. If you have redundancy, if your essay is repetitive, definitely your band score will be lower, especially at the higher band scores in the IELTS, like 7, 8, 9, okay? All right, so that's why. First paragraph is health, second body paragraph is success. Again, topic sentence here about success, okay? So, I'm going to start this. You do the same, write your topic sentence, and then we will compare, okay? So, okay. So there is my topic sentence. Regular participation in sports enables individuals to develop the skills necessary for success in other domains of life and leads to an overall higher quality of living. Okay, what do you mean by that, right? So here comes the explanation. You have to explain this. So don't think that your reader knows this. You have to explain this concept, okay? So go ahead, members and students over in our General English Help channel as well. Start writing this paragraph and then we'll compare, okay? All right. All right. So regular participation in sports enables individuals to develop the skills necessary for success in other domains of life and leads to an overall higher quality of living. Playing sports teaches youth about teamwork, winning and losing, and the importance of investing time and effort in order to persevere. Persevere means to continue and to achieve. And to come out on top. Now, here is an expression. It's not an overly complex idiom. It means to reach the goal that a person has, okay? So to come out on top, it means to be the best. All right. And then now, what I want to do here is include my example. And if I can, then I want to use the same example, or so the same example idea as body 1. Okay. Again, that will create a lot of cohesion, connection, strong connection among my ideas. Okay. June writes, becoming an excellent athlete brings considerable fame and fortune to individuals and leads to a better life quality. Yeah, and June, you can do that. So you can make the argument that, hey, somebody can become a career athlete. And of course, that will bring them a lot of money and fame and fortune. Harwinder writes, hard work and dedication helps to reveal the latent ability of individuals. This leads to better performance in sports, which entails success. Okay, Harwinder, that works depending on what you write next. Bach writes, to develop skills and experience by taking part in sports facilitates a way of living in society luxuriously. Okay. June, in contemporary era, both developed and developing countries are awarding their outstanding athletes with profits significantly higher than the average pay, such as engineers, teachers, and doctors. Also, to promote health and fitness in the public, national authorities tend to help their best athletes become popular nationwide. All right, June, not bad. I think you're going a little too far down the rabbit hole, so you have to be careful not to really get lost in your concept, but I think you have a good idea there, okay? So here we go. Arguably, okay. So if we go back to my friend John, that's who I discussed as my example in the first body paragraph, I can use him here because arguably skills that John learns playing sports, he can apply to his studies to become a doctor. So arguably, my friend John applied the same strategies that he acquired during his football years to push through the competitive and challenging career path of becoming a doctor. His sports experience has helped him to become a better communicator and to look past difficulties. Okay, now here I'm not going, I mean, if I really wanted to, I could simply do a connecting concluding sentence. Like, again, this would have been impossible without parental support for sports. Okay, so I can do that as the connecting concluding sentence, but it's not absolutely necessary because now I have my conclusion coming up, and the conclusion basically will conclude the second body paragraph as well. So in the IELTS essay, the connecting concluding sentence is much more important for the first body paragraph than the second one, simply because there you want to make that connection. But you don't really need a connecting concluding sentence for the second body paragraph if you have your conclusion after. It's almost awkward, I would say, because why would you conclude when you dedicate a whole paragraph to this concept, okay? So, in conclusion, now your concluding paragraph, and so as you get into it, and in the IELTS, they really like to see this kind of beginning and conclusion. So that's the only place where I recommend using a template and actually writing these two words in conclusion, okay? It's kind of like in high school. If you go to high school in Canada, you will find that almost every essay starts with in conclusion. And then when you get to university, it's a big surprise for many students that professors are like, stop writing in conclusion. I know it's your conclusion. So they change strategy. But in the IELTS, it's more like high school, write in conclusion, okay? So the conclusion should have your points restated, your argument highlighted, and then a take-home message. Okay, so it should have these three parts, and I'm going to show you how to put that together in a nice, smooth, coherent, cohesive way. All right? Okay, so in conclusion, okay, so I'm paraphrasing here as much as possible. I don't want to just repeat my introduction. I don't want to repeat my body paragraphs. In conclusion, parental support for children who desire to pursue careers in sports leads to a high quality of life, both physically and spiritually. Okay, so physically meaning health, and spiritually here meaning success. All right. Instead of spiritually, I like the word better, socially. Okay. So being successful in society. So you have a better quality of life both physically and socially. Social quality of life is arguably equatable to success in life. Okay, so I'm going to go with that one instead. Again, continually revise and review your sentences. Rethink them as you're going through them. Okay. All right. Okay, so therefore, I'm strongly in favor of caregivers to provide the energy, time, and finances to children who express affinity towards becoming pro athletes. Okay, so again, lots of paraphrasing here, and of course that's important for those high band essays because you want to show lexical resource. Notice how I use the word strongly here to emphasize the argument of my essay. And then my take-home message. Okay, and this is basically what my essay is saying. So in the end, whether or not the child achieves this goal does not matter, as they do benefit greatly either way. Just like I explained with my friend John, right? Okay, so there's my full essay, and now ideally I want to read the whole essay to make sure that it makes sense. Okay, so students always read the whole essay so that it makes sense. So here we go from the top, and you should actually start by reading the question. Okay, and when you're practicing at home, these are the right steps to improving the overall quality of your writing. Okay, so a lot of people who wanted to become professional athletes gave up this idea because of the fear of failure and parents' pressure. Do you think that parents should support their children who want to do a career in sports? Okay, let's go from the top. So many children dream of becoming professional athletes in adulthood. Youth are often passionate about a sport and want to participate and play regularly to gain fame and fortune through talent and hard work. Parental support is important for both financial and moral reasons. I believe that mothers and fathers should encourage aspiring children to become professional athletes, as this leads to health and success. Parents who support their children to participate in sports help their offspring to be fit both physically and mentally throughout life. Whether or not a child eventually becomes a career athlete, it is undeniable that a childhood filled with the joy of success in sports and the regular exercise that it entails does lead to stronger body and mind. My friend John wanted to become a professional footballer. Therefore, his parents took him to participate 4 times each week for a dozen years or so. And eventually, though he did not achieve this, and even though he did not achieve this goal today, he is exceptionally healthy and leads a happy life as a physician with 2 children. Clearly, John may not have become such a healthy individual without the support of his parents to play football and become the best version of himself. Regular participation in sports enables individuals to develop the skills necessary for success in other domains of life and leads to an overall higher quality of living. I want to connect this maybe a little bit better, so I'll go furthermore. Okay, so furthermore, regular participation in sports enables individuals to develop the skills necessary for success in other domains of life and leads to an overall higher quality of living. Playing sports teaches youth about teamwork, winning and losing, and the importance of investing time and effort in order to persevere and come out on top. Arguably, my friend John applied the same strategies that he acquired during his football years to push through the competitive and challenging career path of becoming a doctor. His sports experience has helped him to become a better communicator and to look past difficulties. Again, this would have been impossible without parental support for sports. In conclusion, parental support for children who desire to pursue careers in sports leads to a higher quality of life, both physically and socially. Therefore, I'm strongly in favor of caregivers to provide the energy, time, and finances to children who express affinity towards becoming pro athletes. In the end, whether or not a child achieves this goal does not matter, as they do benefit greatly either way. That's my take-home message. Okay, the essay is good. I'm quite happy with it. I would probably do a little bit of thesaurus, checking for synonyms for support. I find the word support is a bit redundant in my essay. So again, I can always make it better, but overall I'm satisfied, all right? Okay, so that's it, everyone. That's what a great essay looks like. That's how you have to put it together. And I know the class was pretty quick to get this done. So if it was a bit fast for you, just go back and check this video later. It will be on our channel. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. Check for notifications so that you know when these live classes are happening. Andre, I'm glad that you enjoyed this lesson. You're very, very welcome. Okay. Medina, Natalie, I hope to see you in the next class. Persevere, Natalie, means to come out on top. It means to keep going and not give up. Okay? Keep going, not give up, persevere. All right? Okay, everyone, make sure to check us out at aehelp.com for academic IELTS, gltshelp.com for general IELTS. Lots more help there for you. Again, our general IELTS website looks like this. You can click this big red button to join our premium package. And then you'll have access to computer-based IELTS practice exams, full online course, and lots more. I will be back shortly in 30 minutes with Academic IELTS Task 1 Writing. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out for now, but I will be back soon. Bye.